Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. Happy Wednesday. So it looks like my reminder worked today. That's a good day when the reminder goes out that I'm going live in 5. I hope to see a lot of you on here live. And if you are working and you're busy, even better. I love that you're coming back for the replay. So welcome to today's coffee chat. So I wanted to start today with a story. And I hope that it hits home for many of you because it should. There are different color formulation personalities that I've seen over the 36 years that I've been in the industry. I'm getting a message saying my broadcast is having trouble. Hope you guys can see and hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can see and hear me. So there's different personality types, and you know who you are and what type of personality you are, but I want you to take ownership of it today. Thank you, Mary, by answering the following question. Are you the type of colorist? I'm going to have you put a letter for what you think you are right now. Are you the type of colorist that chooses 3 shades, throws them all into a bowl, and laughs it off and says, oh, well, one of those things is going to work? You put it on the head, you set the timer, and you go take a cigarette break, or you have your coffee, or you talk to a coworker, or you go do a haircut. That's A. Type an A in the box if you're throwing all kinds of things in there, doing a quick, Hail Mary and praying that it works out. Then there's the second type is the overthinker, overanalyzer, and I've met many of those. They're thinking way too much about things, overthinking it, hesitating, being super cautious. That is B, overthinker and overanalyzer, and avoider. So B gets so nervous that they avoid doing the color altogether. A client walks in, it seems a little overcomplicated. They give the client to a coworker out of pure fear. That's B. The last one, and there's many more, but I narrowed it down. The last one is what I want for you is confident, strategic, cool as a cucumber. There's not a single person that can walk through their salon door that they cannot tackle, even if it takes more than one visit. We're not superhuman. We're not perfect, but the confidence level is, hell yeah, put her in my chair. I've got this. That's C. So A, B, or C. I'll say them again. A, throw them all into a bowl, hope that it comes out, do some praying. B, overthink and analyze, oh my goodness, what if, what if, what if? C, confident, strategic, cool as a cucumber. I've got this. I'm going to have a conversation about how many. So I've seen so far 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4, 5 C's. And every single C is a member of my Hair Color Secrets Insiders. Oh my gosh. I couldn't have set this up better that you guys are on here. Michael, Bart, Carmen, Mary, Carolyn, Robin, John Farley, Ashley Knight, Karen Fournier. They're all already members of the Hair Color Secrets Insider. And it's because they took the time, invested the money in joining a group to become a stronger, more confident colorist. That is the difference. It's not that they were born with a different brain and they get it sooner than you get it. It's that they took the time to hire a mentor, to reach out and ask for the help. So the story I wanted to share with you is I have a color specialty salon in Pennsylvania. We're very successful. We're very choosy about who we hire. It takes us a really long time to find a good fit when we hire someone. And we train them, no matter how many years experience they have when they come work with us, we train them and make sure that they're doing things the way that we feel is necessary so that our client is always first and always super comfortable. So we were in, a time where we really needed a strong colorist. We had clients coming out of our ear. We had so many clients and not enough colorists. So we're looking, and of course, I always go to my staff first and I say, do you guys know anybody that would fit in with our culture? Culture is everything for us. Like, it is so important, more than money, more than profit, culture first. So one of our existing stylist had her best friend had worked with her at her former salon. So she always told me about her. I've met her. She was absolutely adorable. She was the type of stylist that every owner dreams of because she showed up early every day. She had her hair and makeup done every day. She was accessorized to the nine. She always had a great attitude, everything going for her. However, the salon that she was working with, this other stylist that was in my salon, they were both cutters. They both did cutting, extensions, perming, all the things other than color in that salon. And she was there for about 8 years. Both of them were unhappy and they wanted to leave and come somewhere together. And I don't like doing that. First of all, I don't like taking people from other salons, period. And I don't like when people team up and leave that owner devastated. So I had my, I don't know if I want to do this. And she came in for an interview and she just blew me away. She just was so bubbly and so amazing. And we got into this awesome conversation. And I said, I would love to give you the opportunity. And there's a lot of training involved. So if you're not like super confident in color, it's okay because you're ticking every one of my boxes. You were early for the interview. You showed up with your hair and makeup done. You weren't hungover. You weren't late. You didn't blow off the interview. Like, all of those things are super important. And I offer her the job and I tell her when she's going to start. And she says, I don't know if, the friend told you this, but I don't formulate. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Because she had already left that big salon where they worked together and she went to another salon and she was doing color. So I assumed she knew how to do color and was formulating. And she said, oh, no, no, no. I don't formulate. When I took that job, they told me that I couldn't work there unless I did color. And I told them I don't know how to do color. And the owner said, don't worry about it. I've got you. So basically, every single client that she did, the owner was next to her. It was like Wizard of Oz. The owner stood next to her. He was doing his thing with his client. He would listen to what her client was saying in the consultation. And then he would pull her in the back, mix the color for her, not even say, mix 1 ounce of this, 1 ounce of this, and even not say why. He mixed it for her and handed it to her. So he basically hired her as a technician that happened to be licensed that could place color on the head and be his brain and her hands. And I was like, part of me was like, wow, that's genius because it saves a lot of training because I know how much it takes for me to get someone up and running to be a successful 6-figure colorist. But then I said, oh my God, the rest of the whole interview was, but what happens when he's not there? Because I like to travel, I like to go away. What would I do with her if I was going away on a 2-week vacation with my family and she's stuck there with no Oz to give her the formulas? And she said, well, I just wouldn't book color the time that he was away. And I'm like, wow. And she was okay with that. Here she was 8 years into the industry, amazing at cutting, amazing at blowing dry hair, had a, full extension business. She goes to this other salon and she's, doing what they did for us in beauty school, where they just handed us the bottle. For me, it was the bottle. It was the 80s. Here's the bottle, put it on, set the timer for 30 minutes, and then come get me and I'll help you check it. And then we'll go and take them to the shampoo bowl. That was my experience in beauty school. I say that because I'm 36 years out of beauty school. I am not saying that that's happening now. Unfortunately, from some of my younger members and the insiders, I do hear that that still is happening, which breaks my heart. It's not necessary. It's, we need to level up. But instead of blaming beauty schools for everything that's not happening there, I have made it my life's mission to pick up where they left off. That is what I do. And that is what I do in my workshops. You've heard me talking about my November workshop. We have 100, I believe Bryn told me the last count was 167 people signed up already at the early bird price. The price is going up. So if you've heard me talk about this, and if you put an A or a B in the answer today, it's never too late to become a C, to become that cool as a cucumber confident colorist. All the difference is taking that leap, past the fear of getting out of your comfort zone and into your confidence zone. Ask yourself the question right here, right now. There's 51 of you here live, as far as I know, 52 now. Someone just joined. 52 of you are sitting here hearing me say this for probably the 50th time. A lot of people that follow Coffee Chat are the same loyal people who I know and love, show up here every single Wednesday, whether it be live or replay. But a lot of you, when I see who signs up for this workshop, a lot of the people who signed up were in the April workshop, were in the previous November workshop, and the previous April workshop before that. And this workshop is intense and it's a lot of information, and it's definitely going to move your needle forward and make you a little more confident, but it's just the beginning. And at the end of the workshop, when I offer to invite people into the insiders, I get all the excuses. And a lot of people live their entire careers making excuses for what they don't know and what they're not confident in. And they're stuck in that stupid, in my opinion, fake it till you make it zone. I hate that phrase. Imagine a surgeon. You're at a doctor's office and you find out that you need carpal tunnel syndrome. You can relate. Hairdressers, a lot of us have it. You find out that you have it. And the surgeon says, give me a minute. I'm going to bring my associate back. He tells you you need the surgery. You're devastated. You know you're going to be out of work for 5 weeks. You're not going to be able to use your hands. You know, sit there. You're nervous. You have sweaty palms. The associate comes in. He's a hot potato young surgeon. Skippy is cute. You're like, oh, he's cute. And you're thinking, he's really, really young. I don't know how much experience he has. And then the doctor says, you know, this is Phil. Phil's my associate. He's right out of medical school and he's just starting to operate. And, you know, you can save $5,000 on your surgery if you let Phil operate on you. But I'm going to have to tell you, I have to be transparent. This is his first carpal tunnel surgery. Are you going to save $5,000 and risk your hands that are the tools that you earn your income to save $5,000? I think most of you would say no, hell no. But yet you keep yourself from spending money, a very small investment, in my opinion, for a lifetime of access to over 200 lessons that are every single situation you could possibly run into as a colorist, with feedback from hundreds and hundreds of stylists who've been through it in the comments underneath. Wow, I did this on Thursday and it worked. You know, oh, I never looked at it that way. That really works. John just said, Elaine's worth every penny. You will not regret joining the insiders. Thank you, John. That's very nice of you to say. I appreciate that. But it's such a small investment and we spend money. I am guilty. I am addicted to designer jewelry, designer handbags, not so much designer clothing, because unfortunately my weight goes up and down so much. I don't like to spend too much money on something and not be able to fit in it next year. Either way, either be thinner or thicker for it. But when it comes to education, it is the one thing that returns on your investment every single time. It's like if someone bet you, if someone came into your salon and they were like a secret shopper and they said, here's the picture that I want. You know, they hand you a photo, an inspo pic from Pinterest or TikTok or Instagram, and they say, if you get me to this exact photo today, I will give you $1,000 more than you're charging me for my hair. If you get me to that exact result. If you don't get me to that result, you owe me $1,000. Would you take that bet? Are you confident enough that you would take that? I would take that bet. If you told me you were going to pay me $1,000 more if I match your roots to your ends, I would all day long take that bet, because I've spent 36 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars on education to become a super confident hair colorist. Do I make mistakes? Absolutely. Of course I make mistakes. No one is perfect. However, there's not a project I can't tackle for lack of information, education, and the ability to get them there eventually. If I do make a mistake, I am 1,000% confident I can simply go in, put something on top of it, and erase the mistake. That's where the confidence comes in. Confidence isn't, I'm going to get it right every single time, I make no mistakes. That's not what it is. It's, do I have the foundation, the education, the knowledge to get this person from where they are to where they want to be, and to protect the integrity of the hair in the process? I can't tell you how many times I see people take the long road. So you may be watching this and say, I already know, I don't need this workshop. I already know all these things. However, I promise you there's things in there that you may not ever have heard, because with confidence comes a little bit of comfort. And are you more connected to and protective of your comfort or your growth? Because I promise you, if you're walking into work and it's like Groundhog Day, every morning is the same, it's like you're on that treadmill. You go in, you put your purse in the same spot every day, you put your coat wherever, you go to the coffee machine, you're in that total, every day is the same mode. You're comfortable. And who doesn't want to be comfortable under a comfy blanket watching a movie, or comfortable sitting on the beach reading a book, or comfortable being beside someone who's your partner in life? Comfort is great. However, if you're super comfortable in your career, I promise you, your income is not where it should be, could be, and you really want it to be. So be honest with yourself. If you're hitting your targets, if you're fully booked behind the chair, you're making over $100,000 a year, including your tips, your whole income is over $100,000 a year. You're taking a lunch break. You're working maybe 4 days a week instead of 5. You have Saturdays off. You're living your perfect existence, and that's awesome. Keep doing it. However, if any of those things I just said are missing, I promise you it's education, and it doesn't have to be me. You don't have to believe in me or pick me to be your mentor. I hope you will. As you can see, I have a lot of passion for what I do, and I love every minute of it. I know every single one of these people, Robin, Sandy, Felix, all the people that are on here, Julie, Sandy, John, Farley, Carolyn, Ingrid, I see all these names. Sylvia, these people are already in my group, yet they show up every Wednesday for a free coffee chat that has nothing to do with the group, because they know that I'm ADD and I'm super passionate, and that there's chances are that yesterday I did something new that was like, oh my gosh, I just discovered this new thing. Like today, for example, I would share with you that I have seen all over TikTok everybody raving over castor oil and the benefits of castor oil for growing in sparse eyebrows, growing your hair. My daughter, post COVID, her hair has not grown. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Like we did not do her hair color forever because she had no roots. I'm like, Bryn, you got to get to a doctor. You either have a thyroid issue, something is going on. And she did all the things. She took all the blood tests. Everything is fine. And I'm like, it's not normal for your hair to just stop growing. So we started looking into things. And I said, you know what? I keep hearing that castor oil. I said, my dad, rest in peace, Pop, was always pro castor oil. If you had an earache, he would put a couple drops of castor oil on a cotton ball and put it in your ear, and you felt fine. If you had a bellyache, he would put it on your belly. Like he always swore by castor oil. So I'm like, wow, this is coming back, a total 180. It's back in fashion again. I'm going to get myself some castor oil. So then I started digging deeper, and people were saying, be careful, because when you first start using it, it's really strong, and people are slathering it all over their face and all over their belly. And if they have a pain in their elbow, they're rubbing it really a lot in their elbow. And people are saying, if you have not used it, go slowly. So I'm happy that I listened long enough. How many times have you scrolled and you see like a little bit of a technique, and you're like, oh, I'm going to try that, and you didn't even stay to see the end of the video to see how it turned out? So I stay. I watch the whole entire thing, and I'm like, okay, use a little bit. So last night I was a little nervous because a lot of people said they were landing on the toilet with pains in their stomach and all that. Nobody wants that. So I took a teeny tiny drop and I rubbed it inside of my belly button. I'm like, I need my head examined. What the heck am I even doing? I slept so good, and I do not sleep well. I am in full on menopause, full disclosure. I did not have a single hot flash. I didn't have any pains in my stomach. I didn't get up a million times to go to the bathroom. I slept amazing. I woke up this morning and I was like, my neck was killing me yesterday and it's totally fine. And could this be snake oil? Could this be all in my head? Absolutely. But I don't care. I feel great today. So that's an example of it's not just about hair color. It's not just about formulation. It's about relationships. You know, the people that are in this group, if I am at my daughter's wedding and Julie is like, help guys, I have a client coming in an hour. She has hot roots. I'm not really sure what to do. Sandy, Bart, Lisa, you know, they'll all jump in and say, oh, remember Elaine talked about that in lesson, you know, 5 on blah, blah, blah. Like they have your back. And it's amazing to see that happen, that sense of community. A lot of us don't have that anymore. A lot of times we're in a suite solo, eating lunch in the corner like a little squirrel because your client is right there in your little tiny, you know, less than 300 square foot space. And there's no lunchroom to go hide. You don't want to leave the client sitting there by themselves. So you're in there starving because you're waiting for them to process, where you don't have that coworker that you can say, hey, I'm not really sure about this. You don't have the Oz person. We literally, with the Oz story, we literally had velvet curtains for the mixing room. So I would be behind the velvet curtains being like, don't do what you were just saying you were going to do. Do this. You know, I would be telling these girls that were new how to move forward with keeping as much of what's going on in the hair as possible. So many people will see a train wreck. They'll have like orange here, dark here, and dark roots and artificial dark, and then orange here, and they'll freak out. Where I'm like, okay, the orange is already lifted. Why are you going to make that orange dark again and then go back in and lift through it? So there's a little bit of strategy that goes on where my brain, because I've been doing this for 36 years, I can see like a puzzle. I'm a little autistic when it comes to that. I see things as puzzles and I'm like, okay, don't deepen that orange. That orange is your friend. That orange is on its way to blonde. It's the dark you have to pay attention to. Do that first, then go back in and do this to the orange. So just seeing things differently really sometimes is the difference. And sometimes it's such a small tweak, such a small change. In session 1 of this workshop, I share with you a lot of tips on gray coverage. I say boldly and proudly, I said it last week, I've never met a gray hair I could not cover. I call BS on resistant gray. I don't think there's such a thing as resistant gray. I think it's a resistant colorist that hasn't taken in all of the things they can do differently to cover that resistant gray. So it's usually 1 or 2 little things that can completely change your game. That's all in session 1. Session 2, we go into why what we're doing now is not working, because it's not your fault. It's how you were taught from beauty school, and then again from manufacturers, and then again at a hair show. You just keep hearing these things that simply, when you test it out and you swatch it out, which is my favorite thing to do, really shows you that it's not happening, and that the results that you're getting are not you doing anything wrong. You're doing exactly what you were taught to do. You just never thought to question, is there another way to do this? Is there a better way to do this? Is there a way to actually get the result and get that $1,000 bonus from that bet? There is. But unless you seek out that information and you stay in your comfortable, warm, cozy blanket of comfort, you can stay comfortable and you can stay making the national average for hairstylists. I just talked about this on a podcast. The national average is still below $30,000 a year for a hairstylist. And I don't know about you, but I don't think that's okay. For someone who stands 8 to 10, sometimes 12 hours a day, not having lunch, not drinking water, not taking breaks, beating up their body, getting carpal tunnel, frozen shoulder, elbow tendonitis. I've had all the things because I was working so hard, so hard physically and so passionate about what I was doing that I wasn't paying attention to myself, to how I could work better, smarter, different. And once you see how working different looks and you look at your schedule now, you're like, oh my, but I'm mad at myself and I'm embarrassed by how I behaved the first 10 years of my business. I'm embarrassed that I treated myself that way. And unfortunately, most of you did probably the same thing. You also just kept going through your daily grind of it is what it is. We kind of do that. We're like, it is what it is. I'm busy. That's awesome. And then it's, I don't want to, raise my prices because I'm going to lose people. Well, I hope you do lose people because I want you to get to working 3 days a week with Saturdays off. That's my goal for you. We stopped working Saturdays about 17 years ago. It was the best decision we ever made. Am I saying that you shouldn't work Saturdays? Absolutely not. That may work for you. You may love working Saturdays. For me, I had small children and I missed a lot. And I can't go back and get that time back with my kids. But when you know better, you do better. And now I do better. We used to dread doing bridal parties. Every time we had them, I would be sick to my stomach the night before because I wanted to do color all day long. I did not want to do updos. And I kept doing it. And I look back and I say, I was the owner of the salon. Why the heck was I taking those bridal parties when it didn't make me happy? It didn't give me joy. It didn't make me more money. It made me less money because every time a bridal party took over the salon, 4 weeks later, we had a completely dead Saturday because those bridesmaids live in Kentucky. They live in Tennessee. They live in Colorado. They don't even live in our area. And they took up that whole Saturday to get their hair done for one day. We're never going to see them again. And our color clients couldn't get in. And then it screwed up our whole schedule for the rest of the year. We lost income for the rest of the year over one bridal party. And we were doing it at least twice a month. So like if you sit back and you're in a community of people that can help shine light and show you things that you're doing that you don't even realize you're doing. That's what mentorship is. That's what community is. And that's what we have in this amazing group. And I could cry right now looking at the names of the people commenting because I would say 80% of you here either are a current inner circle member and you come to the monthly coaching, or you've been through the insiders and you're good to go. Like, I just saw somebody on here that was a former member and isn't doing the coaching anymore because she's free to fly. She's good. She doesn't need Ashley. Ashley has been in the insiders and she did the coaching and then she stopped. So I would love to have people with me all year, every year. But at some point, people are like, you know what? I've got this. And they know that I'm still going to be, in community with them. I'm not going to say, oh, you're not in here anymore. I'm not going to talk to you. They still show up for the coffee chats. They still ask me about the live events and can they come to the live events? So I'm super proud of what I've built. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because I work alone and I don't get report cards. I don't get, staff reviews or any of those things. My joy and my accomplishment is seeing these people thrive. And it is my goal to meet as many of you as possible and have you become the person that, here we go. Here's Ashley answering back. Ashley said, you changed my life in 2016. I worked 3 days a week, doubled my income and projected for 6-figure. Oh my God. I am so happy to see that, Ashley. I haven't heard from you. So that's the other thing. I don't know. I was assuming that she left because she's got it all figured out. And this is her saying she does. So this is a proud mentor moment that I will cherish forever because I get to see that it all turned out great and that she didn't just sign up. This is the deal. A lot of you will sign up. And while I love that, I love you signing up, you need to show up. And not only do you need to show up, you need to change what you're doing and take the tips and things that I share and actually put them into use. You have to do the work. And when you do the work and you do the trust fall, it's like that trust fall we did as kids where like we laid back and we prayed that our friends didn't drop us. That's what I ask for you to do. And that is, so Ashley also said, I missed this comment. She said, I want to come back. So you can come and go in the inner circle. You can come for a couple months, get that shot in the arm, get that inspiration, that community. And then you can say, you know what? I'm good. I'm good for a while. And then you can come back. So I hope that you'll start with this November workshop. If you're interested in coming, I'm going to put the link here. We are going to cap it at a certain number because I do a super intense Q&A at the end of it. It's live Q&A and I stay on. Bryn yells at me because I stay on until midnight sometimes answering questions, because I was that person at hair shows that sat until my arm was ready to fall off, waiting for them to call on me to answer a question. And they would wrap up the class and everybody would leave the room. And then there was a big long line waiting to talk to the educator to ask the question. And then we all got kicked out of the room. So I was like, okay, now I'm leaving with that question on my heart and I still don't know the answer. So that makes me sad. So I am, really committed to answering every single question at the end of the workshop. So we are going to cap it. So you're going to see, Facebook, we're still advertising the class. It's still at the early bird price. Probably next week, the price is going to go up because we like early action takers and we reward you when you take action and you're not living in fear and hesitating. So you have some time to get it. The link I just put in the comments. You can also comment formulate. Just put the word formulate in the comments and hopefully it will trigger the automatic page to go to for you to sign up. I've gotten the question over and over and over again. I work on, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm not going to be able to come. So let me know when the next one is. No, do not use that as an excuse. That is an excuse. Of course you work on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Of course you're busy. I hope you are. That's why we give you replay access. And the replay access is immediate. As soon as we finish on Tuesday evening, the replay goes out by the next morning saying, sorry you missed it. Here's the replay so that you can stay with us and you don't have to miss a thing. So stop using, I work that day. My son has a dentist appointment. I can't tell you how many people that write to me and say, I really wish I could come, but the butts just keep getting bigger and bigger. And pretty soon that butt's not going to fit in a chair because you're using that as an excuse and you deserve better. So invest in yourself right now. It's only $97. And if you don't have $97, this is going to come off really harsh, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you don't have $97 for this workshop, it's because you haven't taken the workshop that you don't have the $97. I'm going to say that again. It's what came first, the chicken or the egg. You don't have $97 to invest in yourself because you haven't invested in yourself when you didn't have $97 to spend. So skip your morning coffee, skip having a pizza delivered to the salon and pack your lunch. Ask a friend to lend you $97 because it's like that bet that I challenged you with. I promise you at the end of this workshop, you will have more than $97 to pay that friend back. So take the leap, stop living in fear, get out from under your cozy, warm blankie, and put growth before comfort. I will see you in the workshop. Thanks for being here today for Coffee and Colorful Conversation. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great week.